And now I'd like to introduce my friend, Elsa, who I met through our recovery support groups. And I have watched Elsa go through very challenging times, but continue to walk forward and take good care of herself. I personally draw strength from Elsa, and I am inspired by her continued work on her own personal recovery. But what I'm most impressed about Elsa is her faith and her prayers. So, Elsa, thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for enduring and continuing to work out the audio issues. You are a true testament to what recovery truly is. And I will turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Aubrey. And thank you, everybody. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be among all of us, to draw strength from each other, to console each other, to encourage each other, to boho together sometimes. And that's what we women are good at. We really are blessed with the practice of being open to expressing our emotions. And that's what we do. And I joined this group about a little more than 2 years ago now. A friend of a friend gave me a link, and that's how I came. And have started to work with a sponsor, and I'm still working with my sponsor, and really had made a 180-degree shift in how I dealt with my loved one. My loved one is my son. My son will be 23 in 2 days. And my son started to smoke some marijuana since 11th grade. And it has been a spiraling down, really. About 2 years ago, I had to move out of the house. Initially, I rented a room for him, paid first and last month's rent, and I had to move out. But way before I had moved out, there were many boundaries that I implemented. The first one was you have to be at home by 10 o'clock. For me to pay your tuition, you have to have at least a passing grade. And finally, he dropped out of all his classes. And so I started a curfew at 11 o'clock, and he kept violating the curfew. I changed the locks. And if he doesn't come in at 11, he would have to spend the night in the car or whatever he had to do. I did that, all that really. He became more and more belligerent. I'm a single mom. My son, his father died when he was 2. So I really have raised my son alone, although I have kept, strong male figures around him to give him direction from a man's perspective. And I don't know if I have to do anything over again. I don't know if there is anything I would do differently. Truthfully, from the time way before I got pregnant, I planned on how I'm going to provide and how I was going to care for him. And I don't know if I would do anything any differently. And so my son became more belligerent towards the latter part. Actually, he tried to raise his voice, tried to intimidate me, tried to belittle me. So I had to move out about 2 years ago. And he struggled really being able to pay his rent because he lost his jobs, got kicked out of places he lived because of smoking. And he really was exhausted because he couldn't handle it anymore, and he wanted to move back. I said, no, I can't offer you for you to go into a rehab. So he went into a rehab at Mary's Ford Clinic in Minneapolis. Within 2 to 3 weeks, I don't know what he did. They didn't want him there anymore. They transitioned him to a place in Austin. And that place too, within about 3 weeks, they didn't want him there anymore. They moved him into sober living home. And that sober living home, he didn't get along, moved into another sober living home. Now I'm finding out he's back to the first sober living home. The hardest thing I have done, really, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life was deciding to have a child. And the next hardest thing I have done was kicking the son that I prayed to have. I prayed to have a child. And the very child I prayed for, I had to kick him out. And that's what I did. And through this program that I've joined, the Marana and Every Brain Matter, I learned that I won't be helping him by enabling him. And so that's when the separation started for me, because I joined this group that informed me. I've always raised my son, having always told him, if what suits you is in another continent, I'm okay with you going to another continent. Just want you to be well and want you to do well for yourself. And however way I can, I'll support you. So I've always raised him in that way. So it went hand in hand with that when I learned through the support group, separating from him is what was going to benefit him. I had to accept that, although the condition was different. The condition is that mentally he was tremendously affected by the substance, that when he is at his weakest, I had to kick him out. It's very ironic. When he is at his worst, I don't get to see him. He lives in Texas. I live here in Maryland. So this work has been an amazing journey for me. Several years ago, I started to pray for a spiritual awakening and more spiritual growth, depth to my self, to my being. About 2008, about 2007, I started to learn more about spiritual sides. And I started to read more books and started to do more, listening to more CDs, listening to podcasts. And I still it didn't sink. And I didn't know how that was going to come for me. But by joining this group and by working with my sponsor, by delving deeper in this, by listening to more sermons and reading more, that end, I started to have a little more breakthrough into the spiritual side of me. So that's where I am right now, really delving deeper in the spiritual side of what does this mean? Why does God create him? I do believe God wired him the way he has. I do believe that God knows his vulnerability. And I'm trying to understand, why would he allow for a person to have such existence in a mindless space? And I'm really digging deeper to understand why that is. But I'm also understanding that the depth that I'm seeking in trying to understand this, I'm getting deeper in understanding why that is. And I'm understanding that that's how I'm going to grow on my spiritual side. I'm really understanding that that's how Johannes is going to have his own breakthrough. With me, I was born and raised in Ethiopia, and I am one of 9. Later on, my parents adopted 2 more. So I'm one of 11. I left Ethiopia in 77. And it was when Ethiopia became a communist country, when there was a lot of student uprising, which I was a part of, when killing of the students was really rampant. It's just by the grace of God I left. And before I left, the circumstances that I was involved in, the things that I was involved in, I attempted 3 suicides. The first one was I tried to drown in a lake. In the lake I went to, the first thing I did was I ran away from home. And just wandering in places that I didn't know. It was a lepers colony. And as I was heading in that direction, a young girl came running after me. She said, "Don't go that way. That's the lepers colony." And I had my school's uniform. I was in 8th grade. And she asked me if I'm a runaway. I said, "Yeah, I'm a runaway." And she recognized the uniform because there was a girl that was a couple of grades younger than me that was commuting from that place, was a bit far out of town. And she asked me if I was going to that school, and I said yes. But she said, "Come, you can stay with us." So I followed her, went to her house. She and her mom live in a 2-room house. They have few cattles. She was a student. Her mom was a day laborer, worked in a factory. So she was out all day, and the girl was in school all day. And they left me at home. In the meantime, she went and spoke with that girl that went to the same school. I didn't know that, but she did because she was trying to find the lead, because now she has a runaway in her house. While that was going on, the outhouse wasn't really outhouse. We had to go out in the field and the woods. And she told me, "We have lost few cattle in that lake, so try not to go near that lake." And I really was determined to die at that time. Then I went into the lake. And nothing happened. I walked through the lake. She said, "They have lost cattle in that lake." So the grace of God, the God that has thought more for me, didn't allow for me to drown. So I walked through the lake and I didn't drown. I came out, waited for them. I was in that house for about 5 days. Then my brother and my mom's cousin came looking for me. I ran away because my mom was physically abusive. I didn't want to come home anymore. And they brought me home again. They brought me home, and by then my mom was very nervous because I think she just started to have an awakening of what wasn't working for me, that I couldn't live with them anymore. I think she was just beginning to understand. No. And I came home. I was back in school again. School was abusive also. If I didn't do the homework, was a beating. I didn't do my homework because I didn't understand a lot of things. The school was abusive. The teachers were abusive. My mom was abusive. My uncle was abusive. Everybody was abusive. I don't want to live there anymore. And that was in 8th grade. So we finished 8th grade. Now I was in high school, 9th grade. I was more involved with the student uprising. And I didn't fit in anymore. I didn't want to live there anymore. So I decided to run away again. And I ran away this time. more like to another state. In the bus, I stole $10 from my mom, caught the bus, went to another state, the southern end of Ethiopia. In the bus, I was, the farther out the bus went was more and more country. And everybody that came into the bus was more local. So really, they were not dressed like a city girl like I was. I was dressed in a miniskirt. And that's the only thing I had on me, and $10. Part of it I paid for the bus. And in the bus, an older lady asked me, "Are you a runaway?" Isn't that weird? Everybody knows I ran away. And I said, "Yeah." She said, "You know how to read and write?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, I'm looking for a wife for my son. So I'll wait with my son." That she was also traveling south. She wasn't living where she was heading. She was just visiting. She said, "I'll keep you there until I take you back for my son." She said, "You can stay with us." So I went with her. And the house she took me in was a newlywed woman. The husband has 2 children, and she's a newlywed, a new wife to this man that's married for the second time. And the reason that I ran away this time was I didn't want to live there anymore. I decided that I could go and work somewhere and go to school at night. I just didn't want to live with them anymore. So I went to this place, this new home, and we made an agreement for me to be their housekeeper, and they'll pay me, and I'll go to school at night. And the first night, back home, how maids are treated, how housekeepers are treated is really a very degraded position. Housekeepers don't get to sit and eat with their employers or with their children, or they don't get to share anything with the children. They're just more like slaves. And now I was hired to be a maid. I was in 8th grade. I served dinner to the children, and that really hurt me. That I became somebody's server, that I didn't like being treated as less than the children in the house. All that was just, although we had housekeepers growing up, I never had the empathy to understand how those housekeepers felt like and where I lived. So the first night I served dinner, and then I was given leftover. I had dinner, and then I was given a piece of more like an old blanket to sleep on the floor at a corner. And I was given a blanket, and the blanket was full of lice, and the lice just biting me everywhere, all over, and I couldn't handle it emotionally. The following day, this young wife was so curious, was very curious. And she asked me, "Where's your mom?" And I just broke down. Couldn't stop wailing. I couldn't stop crying. I wanted my mom, but I didn't want my mom. And so I think within about 3 days, so her husband drives trucks and transports coffee from the outskirts into the big city, into Addis, into the main city. That's what he does. He's a truck driver. And she told him, "Take her back to her mom." He took me back to my mom. He brought me to the city, and I came home. This is my second time running away. My mom didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do with me. She knew not to hit me anymore. So I came back in high school. My uncle decided that perhaps I've developed a new habit. They suspected that perhaps maybe I was prostituting, but they decided to beat the crap out of that. So my uncle whipped me for over an hour. And this is in ninth grade. Anyway, the political movement, the student uprising was really getting bigger and bigger, more like the Arab Spring. And do you remember that? More like that. And then now I was arrested at this time. I was arrested because of my involvement. But they also knew I knew a lot of kids. So I was given a chance to go study where those kids are and then make a phone call for the security people to come and arrest more kids that I was involved with. It's at that time also that I decided I don't think I should live anymore because many people that I know, including my siblings, were involved in this thing. So I came home that night. I decided that I think I need to die. So I made a noose in one of the bedrooms when everybody went to sleep. So when I came home after being arrested and really tortured, when I came home, I was just all bloody. And my mom believed that it caught up to me. She said, "This is what I've been telling you, to not be involved in these things. And now not only is it going to be you, they're going to come after everybody that you know also." And I said to Mom, "I think maybe you can help me kill myself." And my mom said, "When God wants to take you, God will take you. I don't think it's something that anybody can help you with." By the time my father came, by the time everybody found out, it was about 11 p.m. And everybody decided that everybody went to bed. That's when I went into one of the bedrooms and made a noose. And I put my neck in the noose and I kicked the chair. The chair fell on the hardwood floor. My mom came running and she grabbed me. The following morning, I grabbed a bottle of Clorox bleach and I drank the Clorox bleach. That too didn't do it because as soon as I came out of drinking the bleach, and my aunts were walking in and she could smell this thing and she gave me milk and she put her hand in my throat to make me vomit. And then her and my mom took me to a hospital for them to pump my stomach. So this is my third attempt in about a year window of time trying to kill myself. So the way things worked out finally, an aunt that had a connection got me a passport and had me move into another state. I moved to another state. I was able to fly under a different name, a different identity, to a very northern part of Ethiopia. From there, me and many others walked out through the border to go to Sudan. So that's how I left Ethiopia. I walked out of the country to go to Sudan. The day that I arrived in Sudan was July 1st, 1978. I remember it was about noon. Despite all those things that happened on July 1st, 1978, I said to myself, no, I can't go to America and be a doctor. I never doubted one day that that wasn't what I was going to do. Even when the going got tough, even when I didn't know I was going to live one more day. And there were many times that I thought I wasn't going to live the next day. The journey from the north of Ethiopia to Sudan took a little more than 2 weeks. Where most of the time that there was no water or food, walking through the desert. I've never thought that I wasn't going to make it. So the tenacity is from many of my experiences, many of the things that I have come across, and it was not easy. Living in Ethiopia was not easy. Living in Sudan was not easy. Sudan was rough. I stayed in Sudan for 2 weeks, but there was a lot of sexual abuse, but there was a lot of physical abuse, but there was a lot of emotional abuse. So I think spiritual strength comes from all those things also. I don't know, there's something that in my core, I'm not one that gives up. In my core, I think that was my glue for me to have come as far as I have come. I came here on December 11, 1980. Before here, I was in Germany as a refugee for 10 months. Before that, I was in Sudan for almost 2 years as a refugee. I came here on December 11, 1980. In January, I got into high school. And this is something that is a very profoundly humbling experience. I was staying with my uncle at that time in Maryland, in Rockville, Maryland. He walked me to the bus stop. All the cars stopped for me to cross the street. For all of you that are from here, that is routine. That is something that's normal. Nobody has ever stopped for me to cross the street. Cars stopped for me to cross the street, for me to get into a bus. A bus took me to school. School provided me with the stipend I needed, vouchers for breakfast and lunch. I went to a public school where books were given to me, where there was a lot of tutorial help for me, where I later on applied and got accepted to an undergraduate school, University of Maryland. I later on went and became a dentist. I did postgraduate work, and now I have a thriving practice with amazing people working for me. And this family of Marana and Every Brain Matters really has been a backbone to be spending several times in a week between my sponsors and coming to meetings. I spend a few hours a week working on myself. So the God that has brought me out of that lake, that pond that I didn't drown in, fast forward 40 some years later, all that has built me to prepare me to be able to give the son that God has gave me. God has gave me a son, and God has said, give him back to me. And the first the first step of the 12 steps program is accepting that there is a problem beyond my control. And on the third step, where we give our the weight we carry, the weight that we can't handle, that we give back to God. I think the lesson of this life experiences for me is that there were many things that I was able to do that I thought I was able to do, but everything has been with the support, the kindness of God, and me being able to do what I have done. And I think this is just one more of that. I think God created Johannes. God is saying, this is my battle and not yours. And so my spiritual growth comes from all those things, from the beginning to here, from the beginning to now. My journey is a bit unusual to a lot of people. But for somebody that has come from the type of background that I have, so many turbulences. I come from a home where my father was a gambler, an alcoholic. I have so many family members that have fallen into use of substance. So I come from all this, and now I have a son that is challenged by addiction. And so my life is very colorful. I have a lot of amazing things in my life. I'm also challenged, like all of you. And so, as the strengths, I think we all are strong. We all are here struggling. Sometimes we fall, sometimes we get up. We support each other. We pray for our children. And with God's grace, I hope for all of us, we'll get to see the better side of our loved ones for their sake, for our sake. But such is life. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it isn't. And so, thank you for accepting me in your community, for being my backbone, for the love and kindness that I get from all of you all the time. As wounded as you are, I'm as strong as you are, I'm as weak as you are. I'm a sister, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, and I love all of you. And I appreciate you making me part of your community. And I hope to continue and thrive and grow with all of you. And we don't know what tomorrow has, but today we're here. And I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Love you, Elsa.
Love you too.
Love you, Elsa. Thank you.
Love you.
Go ahead, anybody. Anybody can unmute and say anything. It was absolutely beautiful.
We appreciate you, Elsa.
Thank you.
Yes, Elsa, thank you for sharing. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It's a
Elsa.
miracle.
It was,
Yeah, it's a miracle that you're here and you're with us, and you are a walking, talking miracle on this earth.
Thank you.
you don't know how much you have given us, given me. It was so wonderful to hear your story and your
Thank you.
courage and bravery. It's incredible.
We are so blessed to know Elsa. And we knew her before, but we know her more well after this night. And Elsa, I knew your background was challenging, but I had no idea. Thank you for sharing your heart with us, and thank you for sharing your life with us. And we're so glad you're here.
It takes a lot of courage for the bravery that you've shown to be this vulnerable with all of us. So, Elsa, you are a strong, brave, beautiful woman. And thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story and just providing the inspiration to many of us to fight through those battles that we face.
It makes me realize that we could get through anything with God's help and each other's help, and that everything that you got through, what could we complain about?
Yeah.
Yes. Elsa, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
There was a beautiful prayer you shared in one of the meetings one night. I don't know if you have it memorized or if you have it nearby, but could you share that with us?
Is it about for our children or for the day? Thank you for this day.
I think it's for our children.
Yeah. It's a prayer from Marianne Williamson. I think the
Yes.
name of the book is Illuminata. It goes, Dear God, there is no word to describe the love that I have for my son Johannes. I pray for his care and protection. I surrender my Johannes into your hands. Dear God, please send your angels to bless and surround him always. May Johannes be protected from the darkness of our time. May Johannes see you at the center of his life. May Johannes' heart grow strong to love and serve you. I surrender my motherhood to you today, dear Lord. Make me the mother you want me to be. Show me how to love Johannes most patiently, to be present for him fully, to profoundly understand who Johannes is and what he needs. May this family be a blessing unto Johannes. May Johannes find his values, principles of love and righteousness. May Johannes learn from me strength. May Johannes learn from me kindness. May Johannes learn from me the lessons of power that he has it and must surrender to you for your purposes throughout his life. And thus shall you be gladdened, and thus shall Johannes be free to live fully and love deeply. This is my wish. This is my prayer for Johannes and for me. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elsa.
You're welcome.
Does anybody want to ask Elsa a question or make a comment?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say something that I've seen you, Elsa, in past meetings and when you first started, and all the wonderful changes you've made really shows on your face. You just look beautiful, and I know it's coming from all the work that you've done. And that's really inspiring to me.
Oh, thank you, Sue, and so good to see you.
Same here.
Yeah, thanks.
Cindy has her hand raised. Cindy, do you want to unmute?
Yes, I'll put my video on so I can look at Elsa when I'm talking to her. Hi, Elsa. It's Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. How are you?
I'm good. Very moved. I just want to tell you from the day. Jeez, you're going to make me cry now. Hold on. I got to get this together. The day that I joined this group, I was drawn to you. I want you to understand that you are probably one of the most core members of this group, which brings me back. I look forward to seeing your face each week. And I I completely get your spirituality and what's moving you each day. There's something that I learned in my spirituality journey and in the questions of why. And it is, I don't need to know why if I know who. And that's where I get my strength is in him. So I hope that you continue to get strength in him as you continue on in your journey. And thank you for sharing with us tonight.
Oh, thank you, Cindy.
We love you.
I love you.
Elsa, I have a question.
Okay.
When you were a child, did you speak English in Ethiopia?
Until I want to say until sixth grade, English was taught as a second language. And then from six on, every subject was taught in English. But it's not our, it's not the language, it's not spoken language outside of school. So I think I got better after I left Ethiopia. When I was in Sudan, I worked as a secretary, and it was a company that imported things from abroad. And in the office, we spoke in English. So that was my first time when I had to communicate in English on a regular basis. And then in Germany was German. But when I came here, started high school, that's when I really started to work hard at learning the language and improving my language skill. So it happened in the last several decades, I guess. Now I've been here since 1980, 24 years.
Wow.
So yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
Sandra has her hand up.
Okay. Hi, Elsa.
Sandra.
I guess just the observation that you're obviously a high achiever and an overcomer.
Good.
I don't know. It occurs to me that I feel like I am too, and that somehow that sets our children up for being something less than that. I don't know if you have any thought in that thought on that thought runs through my mind all the time. And sadly, almost sort of a guilt from being an overachiever and that somehow that plays into this. Do you have any thoughts on that, or even a disagreement on that would be welcome? It's just
More. In the gene pool, there's so many features that would express itself in any one of us, right? And my gene pool, both from my mother's and father's side, addiction is very strong. And my son, his father also was plagued with alcohol abuse. I don't know what other things he may have done, but so my son gets it from all direction. And I really struggled in school. Growing up in Ethiopia, I really didn't have the aptitude most kids did. I struggled because I'm a slow learner. I still am a slow learner. I'm still a very slow learner, but I'm a persistent learner. I don't care what it takes, how long it takes. If I want something, I will get there. I may not get as fast as the others, but I will get there. My son is also like that. He's a slow learner. So I don't know with the social pressure. and the way his mind, the propensity he has for addiction, really, once he tested this marijuana thing, he really got hooked. But the fact that he wasn't as fast of a learner as the rest of the classmates, maybe that he may have felt certain inferiority about where he is. I did feel that way growing up. I did feel inferior, especially in a culture where uh, teachers felt free calling students names and belittling them, where that was a normal practice, that I got belittled a lot, that I got called names a lot. And here it's not like that, but a child could feel less, not as quick, not as witty, not as fast as the others. My son did feel that way. So the choices that he has made, uh, who knows? Maybe that has, I don't know. Um, my son worked very, very, very hard. My son never gave up when he did his work. He did pretty well when he finished high school. He had a 3 point something average, and he really went to a very intense private school. So he's done pretty well. But he worked extra hard, just like I did. Some nights, almost until the wee hour, he sat down to do his work. So I don't know. Who knows, Sandra? Who knows? In hindsight, I don't know if my mom had to, if her thinking was different than wanting to rule with with an iron fist. If she really had to rethink, I don't know what she would rethink of, what she would have thought of me. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't think it's an accident, Sandra. God knew that Johannes was going to succumb to this way before Johannes came on this world. He knew this was going to be his challenge. That's why I kept saying, but why? Why? He could have just reversed this whole thing and make all our children to where they all would be just honorable and amazing children. But it doesn't work like that, So I don't know. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elsa. We're going to go to Mary Moss next, and then we'll go to Mary Sage.
So Elsa, I love you so much.
I love you.
Thank you for sharing. I just have a question. I know you have said before that you have brothers that live over here.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with your family? And do you see, are your mom and dad still alive? Do you see them ever? I'm just curious.
Mom and dad passed away. Mom passed away in 2007. Dad passed away in 2020. Out of 11 of us, my brother, he's a foster brother. He lives in Minneapolis. I have an amazing relationship with him. I have an adopted sister in Germany. I've gone a few times to go see her. She is just awesome. My oldest sister became a retired nurse. She went back to Ethiopia to serve as a missionary. I have a great relationship with her. My brother next to her, he is here in Maryland. He's a CPA. He's my CPA for my business. He is just the best thing for me. My other younger brother, he lives in Maryland. He is a tremendous force for me. He is just, I adore him. I have a younger sister here. She's awesome. I have a sister in Ethiopia. I don't have a great relationship. None of us have a good relationship there. I have a brother and a sister in Texas. We my sister didn't want. My sister at some point decided that I think in many words, she felt like we have set the bar too high. Our expectations are higher. By that I meant me and my older brother gradually brought everybody here to the States. And some of them went to school, some of them went to work, but we brought everybody. And the first thing we did with everybody was introduce them to education. It was, this is the way. That's what we did. And my sister, my brother, academically, that didn't excel, but have done well for themselves. I think have felt that we're too demanding of them. I think there is a resentment that has built from there. So my sister and my brother in Texas, minimal communication with all of us. Otherwise, we have really a very strong family, so we get along very well. Mom and dad, as I'm working step 8 now, I'm step 9. I have to write a letter because they moved on before I finished my steps, where I could in person could say, I'm very compassionate to them. I'm very compassionate to my mom. My mom died of cancer. My mom raised us alone pretty much while my dad gambled. My mom, her mother died when she was 12. She was raised by a very abusive stepmother. And my father was really awful for her. So I'm getting a better understanding of why my mother turned out the way she has. So much has happened to her. So I'm really looking forward to finishing those letters to my mom, to my dad, to my son's father. That's where I am. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm the youngest of a big family, so
Okay.
wanting to know what that was like. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I gotta marry Sage next.
Also, I was just curious if you've talked about your past a lot with Johannes, or was he ever curious, or how he felt about your past?
To some extent, whatever age appropriate was, when after he started to smoke marijuana, he always noted that I had a very distant relationship. I was raped by my father.
Oh.
So I had a very distant relationship with him. And my son was always curious. One day, he really persisted and asked me, and I told him I was molested by my father. So I think in terms of severity of experiences, I think that's the only one I shared with him. But pockets of things and experiences and cultural differences and things, whatever age appropriate it was, I've shared a reasonably good understanding of how I evolved.
Thank you, Elsa.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you've overcome. And I'm going to put the link in the chat. People are asking about the prayer that you did from Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
Illuminated Prayers is the name of the book. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And I know there's another link that in the chat that Maria put in there too. So here's the prayer. I have a question again. I could ask Elsa questions all night long. Elsa, when you spoke about being a maid, and how they treated you, I was curious now that you are a professional and have your own business. Do you have your own maids?
We have a lady that comes and does she cleans my house, she cleans my office. But every 2 weeks when she comes to clean my house, we will have a meal together.
Mm-hmm.
I do help her clean. When I have office functions, I invite her to my office functions. She's like a sister to me.
Mm.
Whether it's with her or my staff in the office, there's nothing that they do that I don't do. And I hold them all to a highest esteem. So I think in honoring others, I honor myself. There's nothing to be gained by belittling others. Actually, that speaks so little of me that if it's not for the support system I have, I wouldn't be where I am. So they're very important to me. Very important to me. Actually, I work harder to support all of them than expecting to be supported. So it's an honor, really, to take care of the stuff that take care of me. Yeah, I didn't like being a maid. Really didn't like being a maid. And in Ethiopia, when we were growing up, when everything was basic, meaning if you want bread, we go to the market to buy the grain, go take it, get it milled, bring it home, mix it, wait until it fries, go bring the wood from the woods and get the wood fire going to bake a bread. Everything is labor intensive. Everything. So housekeepers really slave over there. It's not easy. We didn't have dishwasher. We didn't have washing machine. We didn't have vacuum cleaners. We didn't have a car. So really, everything is labor intensive. And here is a washing machine. There's a dryer. There's a dishwasher. Now I have this little robot that goes and cleans the floor. So what are we complaining about in here, The bus comes on time. It comes. When I was in Sudan, there was a bus sometimes. Okay, sometimes. If you catch a taxi driver, let's say you decided to go from point A to point B, along the way, he might decide to stop to say hello to his family. And he will say, I'll be back. And he'll leave you in the taxi. He will go to talk to his family. Or it's a prayer time, right? Because in Muslims pray 5 times a day. It's prayer time. So, you wait in the taxi, you'll go and pray and come back. And the bus sometimes doesn't come. So when I went to Germany, the first thing I noticed was, whoa, the bus comes on time. And the driver doesn't take off to go to the bathroom or have coffee or something. He takes you, if it says it's going to deliver you at station B at 5:07, it will deliver you at 5:07. How crazy is that? So when I came here, of course, I have experienced Europe a little bit, and I learned that the bus comes on time. Why do people need a car? So the things that we take for granted here, it's insane amount of privilege. So when I came here and I got in high school, don't ask me how I got in, but I got in high school at 20. I got in. School bus came to take me. And school gave me voucher for breakfast. Why wouldn't I do well? Why wouldn't I? I was 3 weeks, for 3 years, I was out of school before I got in high school in here. I was in Sudan, I was in Germany, I was out of school for 3 years. They gave me support, tutorial support. I applied at the University of Maryland. I got in. They gave me financial aid. Why wouldn't I do well? Yeah, why wouldn't I do well? And then later on in dental school, I didn't have enough money, but they gave me loan. They don't even know me. They risked their money on me. Now I'm the person that was trying to drown, that was trying to hang myself, that they were chasing to kill, that at some point my mom didn't know where I was. She was looking for my dead body. I'm that person. They're investing in me. Why wouldn't I do well? And then fast forward, I finished. I wanted to buy a business. They gave me loan. Why wouldn't I do well? So the perspective, the perspective is a big thing. Now my son cannot think like that, right? My son will say, Mom, Wi-Fi is no Wi-Fi. I'm like, you don't need Wi-Fi Y6. You don't need that. Read the book, go to the library, find your thing. But, kids in here, you can't think like that, You can't think like that. So it's an amazing amount of opportunity to be whatever it is that you want to be. So despite how hard it is for me to learn things, like tonight, it's so challenging trying to figure out this audio thing. By the way, I found out that there was this button in here that says audio that was pressed. So
Oh
anyway,
my God.
it's an amazing country. It's an amazing place. I cannot imagine living anywhere but here. I'm so forever grateful and forever indebted, forever in gratitude for the blessing this country is to me, and the blessing and all of it, everything. It's this group. It's everything. It's an amazing place. Of course, we know we all complain, right, about one thing or another. Now we complain about election, this, that, and the other. But it still is an amazing place for me, and I'm forever grateful. Really grateful. Really, really grateful. So when the perspective is different, it's when you see it differently.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I love you.
I love you.